Okay, the purpose of this is to demonstrate the update procedure for the Fairbairn boards. And let's start with the software installation. This is going to be obviously the first thing you'll need to do. It comes on a CD, and it's a very simple installation. If your laptop's not set to auto run, you'll need to browse to the folder. And simply double click on the setup. It's a very simple installation. Unless there's anything specifically you need to change, all you should have to do is click on next. The default position for the folder, next, next. It will install itself, and then you click close. That's the end of that. The next thing we need to do is to prepare the Fairbairn board. And this one is connected to the coffee machine at the moment. The first thing we need to do is turn the power off to it. We don't need to turn the power off to the coffee machine. There's two different types of boards. This one uses a barrel connector, very simply unplug like that. The second type, which I'll show you, uses the 4-pin square plug. This one also unplugs. Be careful when you do so to make sure you release the retaining latch, because otherwise it's too easy to pull the wires out the back of the connector. Press that with your thumbnail, it just pulls out. There shouldn't be any need to have an excessive force. With the board turned off, we then need to make sure we have all the required tools. First thing we'll need is a screwdriver to undo the screws on the back. Two jumpers, a male and a female one. The USB serial adapter, which we have connected to the laptop. Now this one's already pre-configured for this one. We're assuming that you have the same sort of setup. There's a lot of different ones. The USB adapter connects to the board using a serial adapter like this. This looks like the Concordia one. It's not. They won't work. This one is a mirror image to make the connections the right way around. I've put red bands on this so you can tell which ones are which. This connects to our serial adapter, like so. Now what we need to do is we need to disconnect our board from the coffee machine. On the IBS machines it's very simple, it's on the back. On the earlier machines, 2000 and 2500s, it's inside and you need to remove it from the internal data port. Once that's disconnected, we connect it to our serial adapter, like so. The board is still powered off. We will remove the two screws on the back. And the lid comes off like that. Now, this is, as I say, a slightly earlier version. Both versions of the boards have jumpers for programming in the same location. Here is one of the other ones. Now, depending on the vintage, you will see a jumper here which has a 2-pin header on it. Later boards have the 2 pads, they don't have the header. Depending on which one you find, one of these jumpers goes on the board. The header one has a yellow jumper. If you find you don't have the jumper with the header on it, use the red jumper. That goes in the same place like that. Now, while we're here, we'll take this opportunity to replace the SIM. We take out the VT SIM, this slides out of the holder like that and lifts clear of the case like that. In its place we will be putting the T-Mobile SIM. Exactly the same sort of thing, goes into the holder, slides into place. Make sure it's firmly in the holder. Okay. Everything is now connected up. All we need to do is power the board back up again. Okay, board is powered up. We have one slowly flashing light, or quickly flashing light in this case. What we need to do now is start the programming software. This is done by looking in the programs module programmer here. You click on this, it brings up the folder in which is the GPRS mod program. We double click on this and that starts the operation. The software automatically locates the COM port, verifies that it's talking to the bare-bone board, and it starts the process itself. Okay, now we've updated the board with the software. If there are any problems, it would have highlighted it here in the window. It hasn't done, so we know it's updated okay. All we need to do now is to bring the board back into service. First thing to do is disconnect the power again. And then we remove our programming jumper. Our SIM's now in place, so all that remains for us to do is to button up the box. Lid back on, and 2 screws back in. And we take our data cable from our adapter and plug it back into the back of the copy machine. And finally, we turn the power back on. If all's gone according to plan, it should go through the light sequence to all the lights on solid and the network light flashing slowly to indicate that it's got a connection. Now is a good time to record the number of the SIM, either on the label on the back. This one's a bit scribbled out. Make sure you have a copy of it somewhere because it's the only way we can keep track of the unit.